It is finally time to give you guys my top 10 favourite films of 2016. There are a couple of films I wanted to see before I did the video list, but now I've seen the films that I wanted to see. Here we go. A few things I want to say before I get into this list. Number one, this is my list, not yours, so if you want validation for your favourite films of the year, you might as well just get out right now. Number two, there are some films that have yet to come out in the UK, or films that have not come to my local cinema that I haven't seen, so they won't be on this list. And lastly, ratings don't entirely matter here, so you might see a film that I gave a 4 out of 5 over a 5 out of 5. It's all to do with entertainment and rewatchability and films I just enjoyed more than another film. Ratings don't matter, it's my favourite films of the year list. So with that stuff all out of the way, let's get into my 10 favourite films of 2016. First up, we have Zootopia. Zootopia was fast paced, it was entertaining, it was really funny at parts. The investigation aspect was surprisingly intriguing, and like the good old Disney films, it's really heartfelt, it's really touching, and it has a really good message. This film's message being, no matter who you are or where you come from, don't let that stop you trying to make a positive impact on the world. Disney's winning streak continues with Zootopia. Number 9 is Deepwater Horizon. This film for me was a really big eye-opener because when the whole Gulf of Mexico stuff was going down, I had no idea that an oil rig exploded and people were fighting for their lives. So this film let me know that right off the bat, and it was brutal, it was intense, and it was a really riveting experience. The stuff that these guys had to go through on that oil rig was just so shocking. I had no idea all this stuff went down, and I now have respect for these guys for, you know, working in the oil rig industry. It's a lot more dangerous than I thought it was before. And this film almost made me tear up towards the end with a certain thing that happens, which I won't spoil in case you haven't seen the film. And whenever a film gets me to almost tear up, especially a disaster movie, it deserves some recognition. Number 8 is a film that you might be surprised is a little bit low on the list, but I still really enjoyed Rogue One. Rogue One kicks off the Star Wars spin-offs with a great change-up for the franchise. It was a gritty, boots-on-the-ground war film with exhilarating action, amazing visual effects minus the 2 CGI characters, and this film possibly has my favourite third act of any film I saw in 2016. It was some unbelievably exciting stuff. And perhaps most impressively, Rogue One puts new context into Episode 4 A New Hope, and it's a perfect companion piece to that film. Remember at the start of the video when I said that ratings don't usually matter? Well, that's my explanation for why number 7 is A Monster Calls. I gave A Monster Calls a 5 out of 5 and I stick by my 5 out of 5 rating, but this is like a really sad movie. It's a drama first and fantasy second, and since it's not going to have too much rewatchability because it's a really sad film, that's why it's number 7. But still, A Monster Calls blew me away with the performances, especially by Lewis McDougall and Felicity Jones. The story was great, the visuals were spectacular, and the way the story balanced fantasy and drama was so seamless, and one never compromised the other whatsoever. And on top of all of that, the emotion was powerful, it was effective, and I was tearing up by the end. There was actually tears in my eyes, and again, any film that can get me to even nearly tear up deserves some recognition, and A Monster Calls was just a great film all around. There was no way it was missing out on my top 10 list. Number 6 is a film that I really liked the first time I watched it, but it's a film that the more I thought about it, the better it got, and that is Sing Street. Sing Street has a story that you've seen a million times before. A boy meets girl, girl unimpressed, now the boy is going to do anything he can to try and win the girl over. In this case, he's going to start a band, but it's the execution of it all that elevates the film above its familiarity. The whole cast was great, the film was inspirational in the sense that if you want to do something creative, just get out there and just do it. The two leads of the film were a really great couple. You wanted their romance to blossom every time they got together. And yes, the music makes one of the best soundtracks of 2016 that I still listen to quite regularly. Number 5 is the most surprising film of 2016 for me, and that is The Edge of 17. The reason this film surprised me so much is because the portrayal of teenagers in high school life was actually so realistic. It had a main character that you understood and that you felt sympathy for, played brilliantly by Haley Steinfeld, who's one of my favourite performances from any actor or actress in 2016. The film did a great job of exploring her state of mind. You understand why she feels the way she feels and why she's reacting the way she's reacting when her best friend starts dating her older brother. And it makes for a funny, entertaining, and occasionally emotional coming-of-age movie in the vein of John Hughes. Next up is Arrival. Now this is by far the most intriguing film of 2016 for me. It's an alien invasion film that favours ideas and dialogue over explosions and action. I was engaged from beginning to end with the communication between the humans and the aliens. Amy Adams was excellent, she brought a lot of touching scenes to the film, and her seemingly random flashbacks all made sense by the end with this unexpected revelation that completely changed my whole perception of the film. Denis Villeneuve, however you pronounce his name, the director of this film, is definitely a director that I'm going to keep my eye out for, because after Prisoners and now Arrival, I really want to see what this guy does next. Arrival was really, really great. These are the films that I enjoyed the most in 2016. That's why number 3 is Moana. Moana is a wonderful, crowd-pleasing adventure with great characters, incredible animation, and another amazing soundtrack that I also still listen to very regularly. The film does follow your standard Disney-type formula with a hero trying to find their way and all that stuff, but for sheer entertainment value, Moana was one of the most entertaining films I saw in 2016. Now we're down to the top 2, and I was flipping these films back and forth so much I could not make up my mind as to which was number 1 and which was number 2. But I have finally come to a decision, and here it is. Number 2 for me is Captain America Civil War. This is the superhero showdown of superhero showdowns. The film did a really good job at making it feel like a Captain America movie. It highlighted the agendas and the opinions of each side of the dispute between the Avengers. You understand why Captain America and his crew felt the way they felt, and Iron Man and his crew why they felt the way they felt. The conflict and the action and the tension between the Avengers was set up so well, and it was executed brilliantly with that airport battle scene, which I'm just going to say is the best battle scene I've ever seen in a superhero movie, and one of the best battles I've ever seen in an action movie, period. I rewatched this film the other night to make sure it was still my number 2 or maybe even number 1 of the year, and it is absolutely still my 1 and 2. Number 1 and number 2 on this list can pretty much interchange. They're pretty much tied for the best film of the year for me. I love Civil War. It's one of my favourite comic book films of all time, and it's set the stage for phase 3 of the MCU so well, and I cannot wait to see what comes next. And we've come down to it, guys, my favourite film of 2016. I thought long and hard about this, between this and Captain America Civil War, as to which one am I going to put as my number 1, and my number 1 film of 2016 is the film that I delayed my top 10 list for. It is La La Land. Ever since I saw this film this past Thursday, I just could not stop thinking about it. The music has just been playing on repeat in my head, and La La Land was really refreshing because it was so old-fashioned in the way it was made, with the music, the camera angles, the story. It's a classic romance story of two people trying to chase their dreams in Los Angeles, accompanied with really awesome musical numbers. And the fact that it was so old-fashioned was just so refreshing. It's really great that we have people going after this old-fashioned way of making films nowadays every once in a while. And I really, really adored La La Land. I like the characters, I like their dreams and ambitions. They're going after really cool things like jazz, chicken and films, and the fact that it's a musical, and I didn't hate the hell out of it. I mean, that alone's worthy of praise. And the musical numbers were amazing. I've listened to the soundtrack on repeat ever since I saw the film, and it's just a wonderful, euphoric, feel-good movie. I cannot wait to get this on Blu-ray. It's just stuck with me ever since I saw it. It gave me the feels. Like I said in my review, I was expecting this film to be so overhyped, but absolutely not. This film was so great. I'm so glad that I actually waited to see this film before I did my top 10 list, because like, it is my number 1 film of the year. La La Land, it is incredible. It's my number 1 film of 2016. And that is that, guys. That is my top 10 favourite films of 2016. And there are some 2016 films that have still yet to come out, like Hacksaw Ridge and all that other stuff. And when I see those films, I'll update my top 10 list on Letterboxd. So follow me on Letterboxd. The link's down below. Follow me there. Look out for any changes to our top 10 list there. But in the meantime, guys, I just want to say thank you very much for a great 2016. I've had some really good times with you guys, talking films, commenting on YouTube videos. It's been a really great year for just YouTubing in general. So thank you very much for that, and let me know in the comments below, what are your top 10 favourite films of 2016? And if you're new here and you want to see more of my stuff, click on one of these links, and I'll see you all in the next video.